You know what, chat? We are going to keep going with this. I might still get some Road to the Show in there at the very end of the stream. We'll see. But I want to know what these two teams are going to look like after free agency and how the Rule 5 draft is going to pan out. Now, in terms of the exclusive free agent negotiations, I can look to offer Fetty a better or another contract here, and I'll see if he takes it. 2.5. And if he takes that, put a quarter in your ass, son, because you done played yourself. Herman Marquez. How much money do you guys have? Now you guys have money. So yeah, now you can go after Herman Marquez on a 1-year deal. Keep him at a decent price. Not bad. So in terms of staff, I'm the only one that needs somebody. I need a new hitting coach. And the question is, I mean, Miguel Juarez, Arav Kapoor, not bad at all. Yeah, give me Miguel Juarez. Let's do it. I hope. I'm going to try to overpay because, Jesus Christ, I had a bitch of a time getting people to sign with me last year. Let's see. It looks like Fetty took the deal. Herman Marquez still hasn't signed with you guys. I do get Juarez as my hitting coach. You might as well bump it up to 5 for Marquez. Again, just to still have a body. That's what the important thing is right now. And he ended up signing. Good. So we're off to actual free agency. Let's take a look at the rosters first, starting with yours, and we'll see, of course, who's out there for free agents. So let's take a look at what you guys might need. In terms of catchers, honestly, I don't know if you need one. I don't know if you do. You have Huff, you have Amaya, still waiting for Jeromo to be ready. You drafted Del Harrell. I don't think you guys need a catcher, even if there is one out there. It's going to be better to just build up with the younger guys. To go from Huff to Romo, then Romo to Harrell. First base, now you have Kyle Manzardo. I don't really think you need a first baseman either. Not even as a depth option because you have Montero. Second base, Brendan Rodgers. You still have Kyle Datras behind him. You drafted William Yamashita. I don't think you need a second baseman. Third base, I don't think you need a third baseman. Between Sterling Thompson and, of course, the renamed Tug McGroin to take over for Ryan McMahon eventually, I think you're good there, too. At shortstop, you have Tovar and Amador. I don't think you need a shortstop. In left, Fernandez, Mendoza. You're good. Center field, Brenton Doyle, Gold Glove winner. You're good. In right, Nolan Jones. So, I mean, if you're going to look for anybody, look for... Yeah, I can look for a prospect for a position player. It comes down to pitchers. Whether or not it's a reliever, a starter, it comes down to pitching, I would say, is the primary thing to focus on. Third base was mentioned for prospect, and maybe. But so we'll see who's out there right now. So we'll start at catcher. Obviously, again, you don't need a catcher, but Real Muto, Will Smith. I could check for prospects. I mean, Yan Gomes is certainly not a prospect. There's really nobody to pay attention to there at catcher for you guys. Vladdy is out there as a first baseman. Obviously, you have Manzardo. The question is about Vladdy. Does he make your team too good too early? And chat has not had a great amount of success in signing Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in years past and not having him immediately cash out and stop trying. Christian Walker, Dominic Smith, Jose Abreu. Yeah, there's really no prospects there either. Second base, Brandon Drury. And again, you don't really have any prospects in the mix. Yeah, there's nobody there. Third base, Max Muncy, Nick Senzel. There's really no great third baseman either. You're pretty much fine with McMahon. And of course, Justin Turner's 41 years old at this point, so no prospects there. Oh my God, the Blue Jays. Bo Bichette is out there at shortstop. And again, really nobody to sign. And left, Austin Hayes, JD Martinez. Nobody crazy. Center field, Cedric Mullins, Kevin Kiermaier. MVP, Randall Grichuk. And again, no prospects to sign. I mean, unless you just absolutely go for it with a Vladdy or a Kyle Tucker, it's probably worth just seeing what position you need like a replacement level guy at just to improve your depth, right? So that's the big question. Do you want to go for someone like Vladdy or just say, God, who do you even need? That Chris Bryant contract is fucking brutal. You don't even necessarily even need somebody. You could sign a better depth second baseman. That's about it. Maybe a better backup first baseman. But you also don't want to risk taking time away from Manzardo. I honestly would sign a second baseman. There is the argument about center field, but you want to make sure that Doyle's playing. Again, he can't hit, but he's a Gold Glover. You want him in. If we can get rid of Bryant, it would be a miracle. Well, for the record, if you were to release him, it'd be $19 million this upcoming year, then 9.7, and then 4.8. So, I mean, you would technically save money, but that's a lot of dead cap. And honestly, it's not hindering your ability to sign anybody else. Like, if it was hindering your ability to go after somebody big, then I'd say do it. In terms of pitchers, by the way, Ryan Helsley at 31, Devin Williams, Paul Sewald. Yeah, at 31, that's pretty much the cheapest deal that you're going to get. Helsley, 42 saves last year. Helsley's still elite. He is absolutely elite. That's the best closer you could ask for. In terms of an actual reliever, Caleb Ferguson at 29. He's solid. I mean, yeah, you'd be looking at like a Caleb Ferguson or a Ryan Helsley as a reliever. Or if you go for a starter, you got Zach Gallen at 30, who was a finalist for the Cy Young. Dylan Cease at 30, Chris Paddock, Michael King, Aaron Savali. So those are kind of your options. And again, there weren't any prospects out there. We had looked everywhere else, and there weren't any at this point. So that's kind of the question, you know. Big deal to Zach Gallen. 17, 18 million to Cease. Chris Paddock making 17. Valdez, 10. Michael King at 14. Again, you're only allowed to sign one pitcher and one position player. So that's the question. Do you go, first and foremost, do you go for a reliever like Helsley? Or, God, who was the outright reliever that was interesting? It was Caleb Ferguson. Or do you go for a starter like Gallen, Cease, etc.? That poll is up there now. In terms of Helsley's cost, $8 million. Dirt cheap. Ferguson, $4 million. You know, you go for Ferguson if you don't want to go for Helsley, potentially making the team too good, but he is also a closer. So, and then again, in terms of a position player for you guys, I don't really see anybody saying, yeah, go for Vladdy. So I'll just look to sign a depth option that makes sense. And again, that would be at second base. Razor, he's not there yet. At least I didn't see him. But I can double check. I was looking for prospects earlier and I didn't see like anybody with a half decent potential. Yeah, I'm not yeah, Monroe's not there yet. He won't be there until spring training. So at second base, as you guys managed to tie, well, of course you guys managed to tie. We'll have to figure out what the fuck I'm going to do with you guys. So again, Brendan Rodgers. I just can't get anybody that's too great. Well, as a righty, I mean, that's not that bad. It is going to be a coin toss, actually. So it's going to be heads, starting pitcher, tails, reliever. You're going for a starter. You couldn't decide, so the coin decides for you. So you are going for a starter. So pay close attention here, chat. And you know what we're going to do? What we're going to do is go for overall range. 90 plus, 80 plus, 70 plus. Actually, we'll do 75 to 79 and a 70 to a 74. So the reason why we're doing ranges is if you want to try to get someone who's good, but not too good that they're going to help out your team too much, right? You might be able to find a guy in the 70s who is effective, but won't make it more likely that you win games every time they're on the mound, like Zach Gallen. So that'll help us kind of constrict who we're looking at for your players. So that poll is up now. And let's see who we can find here for you guys. Even someone like Whit Merrifield, John Birdie wouldn't be too bad. John Birdie is actually perfect for you guys right now. He can play everywhere. Like, he's getting worse, but he can play everywhere. He's still relatively fast. He was okay at the plate the last time that he played. I mean, Birdie or Whit Merrifield make a lot of sense. Could even go for Ahmed Rosario, but he might take some at-bats away. He would take some at-bats away. Yeah, it's either Whit Merrifield or Birdie. As you guys elected to go for the 80-plus range for a starting pitcher. What are the quirks? Excels when hitting in 2 strikes. No quirks for Merrifield. All right, I'm seeing a lot of people shout out John Birdie. So Birdie will be the attempt. You guys can overpay him as well. Let's give him $1 million for the year and hope that he takes it. Okay, so in terms of starting pitchers, here is who you guys are looking at. I'll give you the list of the best options and the money, right? So here's what we got. First and foremost, I'm going to look statistically to see who the best were between Paddock and Jordan Montgomery. And then we'll talk about the money. We will primarily, I think, use FIP for this as well. So a 3.56 for Paddock isn't too bad. So again, FIP isn't everything. We will take a look back through as well. Obviously, we can see the WHIP and the ERA that aren't that bad. Framber Valdez, not as strong. Not as strong last year. Michael King, honestly not that strong either, statistically. Aaron Savale was actually pretty damn good. Savale was pretty damn good last year for Tampa. Zach Eflin, can make an argument for Eflin. Again, trying to look at the guys that have been performing the best. Brandon Woodruff, not what he used to be. Marcus Stroman, not what he used to be. Ranger Suarez, not what he used to be. Nestor Cortez, coming off of a really good season. Really good season for Nestor Cortez. Mr. Junis, also not that bad. Clayton Kershaw, not what he used to be. And Jordan Montgomery also had a pretty good season. So the 5 best names there statistically, no one over an 85. Well, hey, you'll be able to take a look at the overalls here. So statistically, you had Chris Paddock, Aaron Savale, Nestor Cortez, Jake Junis, and Jordan Montgomery, who are the best options in that overall range. In terms of contracts, Montgomery, 33 years old, he wants $10 million. Jake Junis, 33 years old, wants $9.4 million. Mr. Savale, actually, we wanted Nestor Cortez, 31 years old, wants $13 million. Aaron Savale, 30 years old, wants $17 million. And Chris Paddock, 30 years old, wants $17 million. The choice is yours, chat. Who are you going to target here? Who are you going to target for a starting pitcher, knowing that you're going for John Birdie as a depth option because your team is honestly not looking that bad? So the vote is there. Again, refresh if it didn't pop up on stream for you. As you don't have any arbitration to worry about. We need to send offers out to guys like Drew Romo. Obviously, those guys were just filler trash. Grant Levine. Got to try to keep Waluigi, of course. Don't need to worry about Morales. Starlin. Gotta look to keep Starlin around. Tug McGroin, Warming Bernabel. Keep him around too. Amador. Nestor Cortez is going to get the win here. Nestor Cortez wins the votes. Hold on to Benny Montgomery. Heinlein can go, and then Jordan Beck, again, unfortunately, dropped down to a C potential for you guys, but still an option. In terms, Prince Flutie, didn't even see that name. John Dowd, got to look to keep the legend. Chase Dollander also needs to keep that deal. Bunny, take it easy, by the way. Ryan Rollison can still be dirt cheap for you guys. Joe Rock, Michael Prosecki, Chris McMahon. Again, all these guys just look to hold on to them to at least have some depth. Jesus wept. Yeah, Felix Cano's not that good. All right, so those offers are all through. Nestor Cortez is the target. The question is for age. Obviously, the longer term deal, the happier he'll be. 4 years brings him to age 35, which isn't that bad. He does have a deal from the Yankees for 4 years. If you were to bump this up to his asking price of $14 million even, that does put you ahead of the Yankees just to give him what is being asked in terms of the salary guide, the ideal salary. You know, you could give him a player option. What does 2 years at $15 million look like? A little bit less interest, but still up there. So that's kind of the big question is contract term. Yeah, you go 2 years, there's the chance he goes to New York for the term. That's the big question. 2, 3, or 4. I feel like most people are... Napster likes 3. Catcher likes 2. All right, I'm seeing good amount of support for 3. All right, looks like 3 is the winner. Go 3 years, 14.5 per. Let me know if you want to go with the option to give him a little bit more. But for now, that is the offer for Nestor Cortez. On the 40-man, there's nobody there that you really have to worry about losing. I mean, if you lose him, you lose him, basically. For the White Sox, I need to add Jacob Gonzalez to the 40-man. Cat, Sprinkle, no one else I'm really worried about. Need to re-sign my dudes now, including Mark Altman, who is tragic. DJ Gladney. Keep you around. Javi Chavez. I did draft this guy, and he sucked. The rest of them are all filler and terrible. Jacob Gonzalez. Sign him up. Sammy Rodriguez. Sign him up. The rest were trash. Try to hold on to Wes Kath. Brian Ramos, I guess, ended up playing. God. Kurt Williams, try to hold on to you. The rest are trash. Jordan Sprinkle, try to hold on to you. Zach DeLoach, Augustin Cardona. Mr. Cespedes. Nobody else is good there. Ryan Shreve, you are horrific. Oh boy, they're all horrific. What about starters? Just trying to hold on to whoever the hell I can. I have no idea what the hell I'm going to be doing here in free agency myself. So this is going to be interesting. But there we go. That works for me. So what the hell do I need is the question now. Honestly, Wes Kath. I'm going to add him to the 40-man. I don't really want to lose him. I can't imagine I'd lose Jordan Sprinkle, you know? All right, let's take a look here. So a catcher, young but fine. We're good. First base. I really could use a first baseman to be ahead of Lamont Wade, and obviously Vladdy's out there. I just don't know if that's my move. Second base. I'm fine. Build around Jacob Gonzalez. Third base, I have Yohan Moncada. That's fine for now. Shortstop, Colson Montgomery. Jimenez. I need a first baseman. There's no doubt. Do I dare go for Vladdy? Is that just too big of a departure? Would he help out too much? How much money is he looking for? Apparently I have max roster size for the moment, so I gotta go down to the bottom and get rid of my frickin' filler players. Obviously, that's the big question, is if I sign Vladdy, is that going to make my team too good too quickly? And I don't know the answer to that. I do know that Vladdy has not treated Chat very well over the years. I mean, that's the move. Like, keep Gonzalez. We'll stay young there. I mean, I could sign a veteran second baseman short term, but I still have Baldwin there. I mean, it's either a veteran second baseman or it's go for the big time first baseman. I mean, you guys went for John Purdy. I mean, I'd be talking about like Whit Merrifield for the year. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Doesn't even shout out to Ray. What's going on? He doesn't even want the max contract.
The man was a
That's
fanboy.
insane. I thought for sure he'd be over 30 million. I might have to go for that. I might have to go for it. Goldschmidt's not bad as a veteran. The shorter the deal, the happier he is. Interesting. The shorter the deal, the happier he is. Do I sign him for the sole purpose of trading him? And if I don't trade him, does he make the team too good? Do I go 1 year deal, 18 million? Just to see. Get him under my control at least. I mean, if he's not going to sign a long-term deal here, it just doesn't make that much sense. I'm going to stick to the strategy. I am going to stick to the strategy. I'm just going to look to bring in Whit Merrifield to play second base as my position player. Can pretty much promise him an everyday role. Give Whit Merrifield $4 million. And then in terms of a pitcher, I am going to take a pretty similar approach. Or am I? I'm going to go for Ryan Helsley. He's the same way. A shorter term deal, the better, except he might not have as much impact as Vladdy. It's weird. That's weird then. All right, who's somebody like younger than 30? That dude's a 55. Caleb Ferguson was there at 29. You guys didn't go for him. Maybe I will. All right, 2 and 4 years. He feels about the same way. Bump him up to 5 million even. I'm going to go for Caleb Ferguson as a reliever. So we have interesting targets. I'm going for Caleb Ferguson and Whit Merrifield. You guys are going for Nestor Cortez and John Birdie. Those are the offers. Let's see what happens. As Brian Abreu has been traded to the Diamondbacks for Patrick Wisdom and Brendan Bossier. That is a choice. Vladdy signed a 10-year deal in Toronto. He went nowhere. And Ellie De La Cruz did stay with the Dodgers. I can't believe it didn't tell us about an Ellie De La Cruz deal. All right, we still have some contracts that we're both waiting for, but Kyle Tucker, big 10-year deal with the Cleveland Guardians, $32 million per. So the Astros lose a big piece. Damn. We are still waiting for word. As you guys are just waiting for Ryan Rollison to sign, which he will, so that means we are pretty much good to go. Only thing we have to do is get rid of some of the trash. Actually, in fairness, they'll drop anyway. Shout out to Kinked Up, by the way. 33 months on the primer. Todd, how are you tonight?
With the Patriots jacket, and of course, he's been asked to leave the ball game for ruining a good piece of pizza.
Yeah, we do need to go through. How does Tucker sign for 32, but Vladdy signs for 15? That's a very good question. Maybe it's factoring in defensive abilities. I don't know. Let's see. White Sox have too many players. Do I? Let's get rid of all of the filler. We'll do the same for you guys here just to make sure. I mean, again, we are going to have to sim through the Rule 5 because they didn't fix that like they did the actual draft. The Mariners actually claimed somebody on waivers. That's insane. Still no word about these free agent signings. Never mind. It just didn't report it. So I did end up with Caleb Ferguson and Whit Merrifield. You guys did end up with Nestor Cortez and John Birdie. So both signings were successful. As Dylan Cease is heading to the Mets. Second year in a row, the Mets have made a big free agent signing at starting pitcher. Cease gets 5 years from New York. Anything else? Ryan Helsley also off. Wow, to the Mets. This is insane. Mets are going for it again. Gleyber Torres has been traded to the Guardians for Davison De Los Santos and Jake Fox. Michael King on his way to Texas for 4 years. And we are nearly going to be at the Rule 5, and there it is. Well, first and foremost, the draft lottery. The White Sox, one of 3 teams with a 16.5% chance. Chat, your Rockies sit with a 10% chance at the number 1 overall pick. Here we go. Here we go. There were some crazy lottery results last year. Come on. Come on. The White Sox will have the number 1 pick. The Rockies will pick at 5. There was no movement whatsoever. Number 1 pick to the White Sox. Whew. We'll take that. We will take that. That puts a lot of pressure on me, though. All right, so again, we are off to the Rule 5 draft. And we're just going to have to hit auto draft because, again, I cannot move. As you can see, the Rocky logo in the bottom. I cannot move between teams on this screen. So we have to hit auto draft. And if we end up with anybody, we end up with anybody. Otherwise, the Rule 5 just won't really be a factor in this year's game. Josh Hader on his way to the Yankees for Jace Avina and Jared Wegner. Tommy Edman on his way to the Giants for 4 years. Zach Gallen gets 6 years from Minnesota. Definitely had some big player movement here. Some big player movement indeed. That gets us to spring training. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to do the boring stuff of filling out the roster, but, you know. Let's take a look at what the Rockies are looking like. So at catcher, pretty straightforward. Play Sam Huff and Miguel Amaya. Keep Drew Romo down in AAA for another year. Have Harrell in double. And you can have McIver in AAA as well. Since we can't do Rule 5, can we each grab 1 player on waivers on opening day? Ooh. You know, I mean, if we look at the free agent list, first and foremost, because I know there's interest, I don't know if a certain shortstop's going to be there who went first or if he goes back into the draft. There's Del VR. We could argue that because the Rule 5 doesn't work, that we each get an extra free agent signing at this time of the year. It's not looking too good for prospects anyway. It does look like that number 1 overall pick went back into the draft because he wasn't there at shortstop. Curtis Hansen's 19. I mean, Fernando Valdez is certainly interesting, but he's a D potential. I'm just trying to see if the free agent list is even worth it to be like, oh yeah, we each get 1 more extra signing. Because for the most part, this list is looking pretty barren. Yeah, this is... I don't even think that's a factor for the Rule 5 or free agency or anything like that. So... yeah, I mean, there's basically nobody, so I think it is what it is. So again, let's take another look here. Like I said, a catcher, you guys got Huff and Amaya, you're fine. Can put McIver down in AAA. Obviously, we'll sign all the filler off stream so it's not as boring. At first base, Manzardo Montero works out well. Can put Toglia in triple. Can put Hunter Goodman in triple. Grant Levine in double. Second base, you got Brendan Rodgers, John Birdie. So Datris can be... Because, yeah, Yamashita and Waluigi can be in double, so Datris can be in triple. That's easy enough. Third base, you got McMahon, you got Thompson. There's a real argument about Sterling Thompson, whether or not he should be in AAA. But then again, Tug McGroin should probably be in AAA this year. I mean, Sterling's 24. He could still get better if he's starting full-time in AAA. What do you guys think? I think you could just call up Warming Bernabel and play him as the backup third baseman because he doesn't have as much potential as the other two. Keep McGroin down in double. Play Thompson in triple. I think that's what I'd do at least because you have John Birdie. So it makes sense. Let's go Thompson down in triple, McGroin in double. Keep Bernabel in the majors for now unless you can send him down. Shortstops, Tovar, Amador. Not worth playing him in the majors yet until you have to. So you can go back down to triple. Braylon Wimmer in double. That works out well. In the outfield, so this is the big one. Yanquiel Fernandez. Do you play him in the majors or do you give him one more season in AAA? Because the outfield otherwise, Brenton Doyle, Nolan Jones, Chris Bryant, Charlie Blackmon will still be at the major league level. I think there's room to keep Fernandez in AAA. Let him over-ripen in the minors. Chat seems a little bit mixed. I mean, he would be the starting left fielder. There's no doubt about that. It'd probably mean sending down Chris Bryant or Blackmon. I mean, at least you'd still have Blackmon under contract. So yeah, that's the big season. The big decision for the season is Mr. Fernandez, MLB or AAA. See what you guys think. See where he goes in the lineup. Well, right now, it has him leading off. That might change based on other call-ups, but right now it has him leading off. At least against righties and lefties. Yeah. Again, though, knowing how bad you're going to be, one more season down in AAA to get him above a 75 might not be the worst thing in the world. And last year, he did have a 752 in limited games in terms of an OPS. 17 strikeouts, though, and 95 appearances. Looks like AAA is going to win. I don't think that's a bad decision. That represents his final minor league option, so he'll be ready to go for next year. So that means Mendoza in double. Doyle in the majors, Benny Montgomery in triple, that's fine. Jordan Beck be down to triple. I don't think you guys will have room. Well, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you guys will still have room for Charlie Blackmon then. So, I mean, you pretty much have to play Chris Bryant. That contract's so bad. Okay, so you guys did end up with a Rule 5 draft pick. Good. Tony Santillan. Santillan. That's good. You guys ended up with a new closer. That is very good news, actually. And pretty much makes the decision easy in terms of who the relievers are going to be. So that's good news. It does still pick people up. At the major league level, big question here is Dollander. Chase Dollander, do you give him one more season in AAA, or is he on the major league roster this year? That's another big choice for you guys. What do you do with Dollander? You give him one more season to ripen, meaning that you'll have Cortez, Buehler, Quantrill, Marquez, and Rollison. See what that vote ends up being. And obviously, yeah, the rest of these guys would be down in AAA or double. Feltner's got that heat. Close vote for Dollander. Sucks I can't see his AAA stats from last year, but what are you going to do? It ends up in a tie. It goes to a coin toss, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, you might as well have Matt Koch in there. That's fine. Will it be a one-vote decision? It will be AAA for Dollander. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it's between Feltner and Lambert. You give Feltner the chance. He's got the heat. So technically, you will need one more position player call-up. But let's take a look. So rotation this year, Cortez, Bueller, Quantrill, Marquez, Rollison, I should say, with Feltner. And then the rest of the bullpen, you had Gilbreth, Jalen Beeks, Matt Koch, Trevor Richards, Tony Santillan, and John Curtis. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. And then lineup-wise, Brendan Rodgers, Charlie Blackmon, Nolan Jones, Ryan McMahon, Kyle Manzardo, Chris Bryant, Sam Huff, Ezekiel Tovar, and Brenton Doyle, with Birdie, Amaya, Montero, and Warming Bernabel on the bench. You'll have one other option there. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. What are your thoughts on Flank Thomas? I have no thoughts on Flank Thomas. I'm vaguely aware of who that is. But beyond that, never talked to the guy. So no thoughts. All right, let's see. A quick look as well at the White Sox before I wrap things up for the night. Oh, God. Yeah, so I'm still going to have Max Stassi and Corey Lee as my two catchers. No doubt. So we're going to have one Caro in triple, one in double. Altman can be in double. So yeah, Stassi and Corey Lee are going to be my two catchers again. You guys are a little bit further ahead in terms of rebuilding the team. I'm going to have Lamont Wade and DJ Gladney at the major league level. Second base, I'm going to get Jacob Gonzalez down in triple. Baldwin is fine. Prieto can go down to triple. I have to clean this up a little bit more. But I want to get a general idea of who the major league options are going to be. Let's send down Kath and Ramos. Can players outgrow their potential? Yes. Shortstop. Okay, it picked up Cooper Kinney for me. That's not bad. That's not bad for an automatic pickup. Cooper Kinney. All right. I like that. I like that a lot. Zavala can go down. Colas can probably go down too. Sorry, Oscar. Yeah, I mean, Jimenez has to play. And then what the hell am I going to be looking like pitching-wise? Rafael Geronimo. What a pick he was. He goes straight to the majors as well. Underwood's still good. 5. And probably 6 with Peroa. And then Drew Thorpe, you're definitely not ready. I ended up getting Austin Cox, who you guys had last year, through the Rule 5. Noah Schultz down in triple. Iriarte. Oh, dude, my rotation is still going to be absolutely horrific. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Okay. So this team's going to be so bad. My rotation this year, Austin Cox, who was bad enough on your team that you let him go. I picked him in the Rule 5. He's going to be my ace. Nick Nastrini, Jake Adair, Jared Schuster, Sean Burke. The bullpen, Eric Fettiwap, Prelanda Baroa, Caleb Ferguson, Joe Barlow, Rafael Geronimo, Dwayne Underwood, and Garrett Crochet. Yikes. And lineup-wise, it's looking like Whit Merrifield, Dominic Fletcher, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert Jr., Gavin Sheets, Lamont Wade Jr., Yohan Moncada, Max Stassi, and Colson Montgomery. Yeah, we haven't we haven't left the tankathon portion of this rebuild challenge, have we?